I love music. I'm pretty much constantly listening to it whenever I eat, or study, or draw, which are the three activities which take up pretty much 100% of my time. It's a huge part of my life and I could talk about it forever, but I don't want to sit and talk my friends' ears off about all the different albums I like, so I figured I'd tell all of you. I'm going to be ranking my top 10 favorite albums even though you don't know who I am and you don't care about my opinion. Let's go! Also, throughout the video, I'm going to be drawing this picture of a bridge, which seems like it's unrelated to the topic of the video, but it's not. I'll explain why later. Number 10, A Night at the Opera by Queen. So there was a time in my life, around 2019, where I was super obsessed with the band Queen. I had just seen Bohemian Rhapsody in theaters, I was obsessed with it, obsessed with the cast, obsessed with the band, obsessed with pretty much everything about it. And that phase continued for about a year, and I honestly don't like to talk about it because I think it's really embarrassing, but you have no idea who I am, so it's fine. And while I don't really like the movie anymore because it's actually very bad, this album still holds up. It's really good. It's honestly just really fun, and when it isn't fun, it's super dramatic and grand and, well, operatic. Of course, you can't talk about this album without talking about Bohemian Rhapsody. The song, I mean, not the movie. And here's my hot take: Bohemian Rhapsody is not the best Queen song. In fact, it's not even the best song on this album. My top three for A Night at the Opera are The Prophet Song, 39, and Good Company, which makes me sound like I have a Brian May bias, which I swear I don't. In fact, I actually kind of hate him, but that's a story for another time. Number 9, Fake Laugh by Fake Laugh. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that you probably haven't heard of Fake Laugh, and I'm not saying that to be quirky or like not like other girls or whatever. I'm just saying that because it's probably the least mainstream artist on this list. But I highly recommend, especially this album, which is Fake Laugh by Fake Laugh. It sounds like somebody took Late Summer and put it into an album. Everything sounds really dreamy and liquid smooth. Also, sorry, I love Mitski, but she isn't on this list. My top three for this album are As I Get to Know You Better, Freely, and Time to Die. It's a good album. I recommend it. Number 8, Far by Regina Spektor. If you had asked me what my favorite album was when I was 14 or 15, I probably would have chosen this one. And I know a lot of people are ashamed and embarrassed of their teen selves, and I was too for a really long time, but now I feel like that's a really sad outlook to have. It's really important to carry your teenage self with you, to say, listen to the music you listened to when you were 14, or draw the way you did when you were 13. As Moonlover 1999 once said, do all of your previous incarnations not still live inside of you? Anyways, Regina Spektor is a really good singer, and this album is my favorite of hers. It's either bouncy and fun, or slow and reflective, and sometimes both at once. My top three for this album are Two Birds, Folding Chair, and Human of the Year. Number 7, Smoke and Mirrors by Imagine Dragons. Okay, Imagine Dragons gets a lot of hate, and honestly, that's fair. I really don't care for their new music at all. But this album slaps, and I'll defend it until I die, probably. It's angsty and moody, and it basically sounds the way being a teenager feels. And why wouldn't you want to relive that? My top three tracks for this album are Summer, Polaroid, and I'm So Sorry. Fun fact, I'm So Sorry was actually used as the villain's theme in Kung Fu Panda 3. Number 6, Everyday Robots by Damon Albarn. Spoiler alert, Damon is my absolute favorite singer of all time, and he will definitely be showing up on this list later. I set a rule for myself that I would only include one album per artist, but I found a little loophole because he has been involved with like 4 million bands. Honestly, it's crazy that this is his only solo album. The second one comes out November 12th, and if it's anything like Everyday Robots, it's going to be great. At first, the album kind of sounds like an old guy complaining about phones, which it is, but as it goes on, it gets really introspective, profound, and heartbreakingly honest. Also, there's a super cute song about a baby elephant. My top three songs for this album are The Selfish Giant, Hostiles, and Mr. Tembo. Number 5, Por Vida by Kali Uchis. If there's one thing Kali knows how to do, it's create a vibe. The vibes on this album are off the charts, and it honestly gives kind of her rougher vocals a pass. It's so smooth and retro and fun, and the production is amazing. There are a lot of big names attached, like Kay Trinata and Tyler the Creator, and everybody brings something special to the track they produce. Callie's music has improved a lot over time, but this will always be my personal favorite project of hers. My top 3 songs are Lottery, Call Me, and Loner. Number 4, Moomin Valley, official soundtrack. Soundtracks count as albums, right? Like, even though it's all different artists, it still counts as an album, right? For the purpose of this video, yes, it does. I love Moomins, and Moomin Valley is probably my favorite comfort show of all time. I love the animation and the relationship between Moomin and Snufkin, but honestly, this soundtrack is one of the best parts of the show. Like, it's better than it has any right to be. It perfectly captures the mood of the show and the valley where the characters live, but they all sound fantastic independent of the show, too. But each song adds so much to the scene that it's in, especially the way Back to the Cave is used in the episode The Spring Tune. I could make a whole other video about that. Speaking of Back to the Cave, my top 3 songs for this album are Back to the Cave, Love Me With All Your Heart, and By Your Side. Also, go watch Moomin Valley. It's very good. Number 3, Davy by Coconut Records. You know how earlier I said Fake Laugh was going to be the least mainstream entry on this list? Well, I lied. It's Coconut Records, which is really, really weird because Coconut Records is actually actor Jason Schwartzman. Ever heard of him? Yeah, he makes music and it slaps. In fact, if I hadn't set up the one artist rule, I would absolutely put his other album, Night Timing, on this list. This album, ugh, oh my god, it's so good, y'all. If Fake Laugh is late summer, then Davy is midsummer, and not the scary kind. Everything about it just feels really warm and sincere. Jason isn't the best singer, but he sings with so much emotion that you can't help but get wrapped up in whatever he's trying to tell you. My top 3 songs for this album are Is This Sound Okay?, St. Jerome, and Wires. Number 2, The Good, the Bad, and the Queen by The Good, the Bad, and the Queen. I think that the best albums should transport you to a whole other place. You know how sometimes when you listen to a song, you can like picture a little music video in your head? That's this album, except every single song is like that. This is where the drawing of the bridge comes in. It's hard to explain in words, especially because I've never had the opportunity to explain it to another person, but every time I listen to this album, I just get this image in my head of like this old-timey village and like sepia tones, shades of brown, and it's so charming and it's so quaint that I wish I could move there. And I know I keep using seasons, but this album is autumn incarnate. Every member of this supergroup absolutely brings it. Damon on vocals, Paul on bass, Simon on guitar, and especially the late, great Tony Allen on drums. Danger Mouse's production ties it all up in this beautiful, perfect package. Every track is flawless and just contributes to this vast, rich world. My top 3 tracks for this album are Nature Springs, 3 Changes, and Kingdom of Doom. Seriously, guys, go listen to this album. And finally, number 1, Plastic Beach by Gorillaz. I swear that there will never be another album like this, ever. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I'm saying an album should transport you to another world. But instead of a village that honestly I kind of made up in my own head, this is a fully realized world from these creators. It feels unfair to judge the album on the lore connected to it, but I'm going to. The lore is at its peak here. The characters are at their best. Everything is fully fleshed out and realized. And don't get me wrong, the album absolutely stands on its own anyways. The songwriting is brilliant, the production is flawless, every guest brings something special. And honestly, it's kind of unfortunate, but the message of the album is still relevant today, 10 years later. Honestly, every track is amazing. I don't have a top 3. All of them slap. Yeah, even Glitter Freeze. Everything works together so well, and yet each track is like a world within itself. I truly cannot stress enough how good this album is. Please just go listen to it. I honestly don't even have anything bad to say about it. Plastic Beach is, without a doubt, my favorite album of all time. And here's the finished piece I was working on. You can also go check it out on my Instagram and my Tumblr, both of which are linked in the description below. Thanks for watching! If you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you liked me, be sure to subscribe to my channel. If you want, you can even turn notifications on so you'll be the first to know when I'm revisiting my angsty teenage years. Anyways, that's all from me. I gotta go figure out a way to get all that plastic out of the ocean. Bye!